What's up, boxing fans? This is TBE Boxing back at you again. Today's topic: will the Ryan Garcia and Teofimo hype trains come to a screeching halt or continue to pick up speed? Let's chop it up and see what it's all about.
Got the money for minutes, pretty bitch, gotta show me titties. This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? That life for riches, huh? That life for riches, huh? Pretty bitch, show me titties, huh? And I got the glaze, run up on me, I'ma make you get it. I'ma make you get it.
Okay, boxing fans, let's talk some boxing. All right, so as you know, two fights coming up this year. One in November, one in December. Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell, and Teofimo Lopez versus Vasily Lomanchenko. Right? So now, as you guys know, Teofimo and Ryan Garcia, both of these guys, is on the fast track, supposedly to greatness, and so we're gonna chop this up and see if this is what's really gonna happen, and are they gonna get stopped in their tracks? Now we're gonna start off with Garcia first. Ryan Garcia is fighting Luke Campbell. Okay. Now Luke Campbell just recently fought Teofimo Lopez, and they went the distance. He got decision by I think he got put down also by Loma in that fight. Okay. Now Campbell's one of the few guys that went the distance with Loma. Okay, and Campbell's a big guy. I mean, he's bigger than Loma. Okay, and yet still Loma put him down and end up winning the fight. Okay, it was an interesting fight. I mean, Campbell put up a pretty good fight considering Loma is supposed to be the Matrix, Mr. High Tech, and so it wasn't surprising that he won the fight. Okay, but he didn't. I mean, he won the fight handily. Okay, let's just put it that way. But it wasn't as if it was a total mismatch or anything like that. It was competitive at times, but it was just that the offensive output that Loma was bringing to the fight, Campbell just couldn't deal with it. Okay, and so he ended up losing the decision. Now the question is, is Luke is we know what Luke Campbell brings to the table. He's a pretty good fighter. Okay, good, solid fighter at lightweight. Okay, and but so there's not really much of a question about Luke Campbell. Let's just put it like that. Okay, he's a known quantity. The unknown quantity is Ryan Garcia. I mean, Ryan Garcia is up and coming. He's Golden Boy and the Golden Boy promotional under the Golden Boy promotional banner. Okay, he's a Golden Boy fighter, one of the stars over there at Golden Boy. Coming up right behind CARNE-LO, and so far, he's been fighting some. He had some fights, but not anything where we can say he's been tested. Okay, he hasn't been tested yet, and so this Luke Campbell fight is going to be his first actual real test at lightweight to see where he's really at, and so a lot of people are looking forward to this fight. Now, what the topic of today is. Is this? I mean, a lot of people see Ryan Garcia as more hype than anything else. Okay, I mean cherry picked. The basic Golden Boy basically been cherry picking his opponents up until this point, and this is the first time he's gonna actually be in there with someone that could actually give him some problems. Most people, not most people, I don't know, but a lot of people are saying that they might have moved him a little bit too fast in this situation, because he's facing Luke Campbell, experienced guy campaigning at welterweight, and a guy just went distance with Lomachenko, So the question is, will the Ryan Garcia hype train get derailed, this year? Okay, that's the question that's out there right now, and people are coming down on both sides. Okay, I mean, Ryan Garcia, I don't know, he looks the part, okay, in terms of physique, okay. I mean, physical, abilities. I mean, he's a tall guy. He has long arms. His hands are huge. He definitely have a boxer's hands. Very good reach. Okay, good height. Usually, he's taller than most of the people he's fighting in that weight division. And so, he had a great physique for the boxing. For boxing. Okay. Skill wise, I mean, he's got a good jab. Okay, great jab. Okay, good left hook. Uppercut. He basically got a good repertoire of punches. But the question, is, can he put all that together against a guy like Luke Campbell? I mean, again, Luke Campbell is a veteran campaigner at 135 pounds. And, if we're going to be real about it, Ryan Garcia never really faced no one of his caliber up until this point. I mean, that's clear. Okay, so this is basically a test, and we're going to see where Ryan Garcia is really, if he's just hype or if he's the real deal, because this will tell. Okay, now many people think he's going to be over his head, and I have to admit that I'm one of those people. Okay, I'm thinking that Luke Campbell is a little bit too much too soon for Ryan Garcia. I mean, so far his camp has been bringing him along carefully and slowly. And personally, I'm thinking that they should continue to do that, because I don't think he's ready for prime time yet. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not a prophet or anything like that. I mean, I'm not perfect. I can't, just because I say he's not ready doesn't mean he's not ready. Okay, I mean, only time will tell. And once he get in that ring, we'll see really where he is, and we're going to see that soon in December. So, I'm thinking that, yeah, he has some skills. He got good, his hands. He got pretty fast hands, and good offense. But that's all good when you're fighting people that don't really fight you back, or not bringing the offense, he's not bringing it to you. Okay, I mean, so basically in the fights I've seen him in so far, he basically had all the physical advantages. Okay, in terms of height, reach, speed, and power. Okay, and so he basically dispatched with most of these guys, and so he's been, like I said, they've been bringing him along slowly against guys who he can beat to kind of develop him to a level. But I don't know why all of a sudden they decide they're going to throw him in there with Luke Campbell. But it looks like the WBC ordered this, because I think he has the interim title or something like that. So are they fighting for the interim title? So supposedly the WBC ordered the fight for him and Luke Campbell. Now I don't know, because recently he's been having a lot of problems with his promotional with Golden Boy. Okay, him and Oscar, had it out. I guess had some words, and Ryan is more, he's one of those guys out here right now who is a social media boxer, more or less. He has a big social media following. He's doing a lot of stuff outside of boxing in terms of modeling and different things like that. So he has a good following, and he's making money outside of boxing. He's probably making more money outside of boxing than he is in boxing. So I think he's been out there saying that he wants to get paid more, and so he's been making some complaints to Golden Boy, and so they're not really in the best of. I don't think he's in the best of situation right now in terms of his relationship with Golden Boy. Okay, and so I'm wondering, because of all the demands he's making, and his diva. Acting like a diva, basically, like he's already arrived. Maybe Golden Boy decide that, hey, you know what? This guy thinks he's ready. Let's throw him in there with the Sharks and you know, let him sink or swim. So maybe that could be the situation right now, which is why he's getting the fight with Luke Campbell. Because ordinarily, I don't think they would have probably put him in there that quick. You know, I mean, I'm thinking that, you know, that a Luke Campbell fight for him probably would have been about 3 fights, maybe even 4 fights down the line. Okay, I mean, you know, bring him along a little. You know, I'm going by the way they've been bringing him along so far, and based on that, I'm thinking that, you know, they would probably give him a Luke Campbell fight sometime down the line, not right now, but they give it to him right now, and so we're gonna see, you know, what he's really made of. Okay, now, me personally, like I said, I'm thinking that I don't think he's ready for prime time. I think he have a lot of, you know, little flaws there in terms of his boxing technique. You know, he doesn't move his head very much. Okay, and it's, you know, he stands straight up and he moves straight back when he, you know, he doesn't really. I mean, he makes a lot of mistakes in there, and I'm thinking that a good fighter, you know, somebody with some experience and skill would take advantage of that. And not only that, like I said previously, Ryan Garcia, most of the time he goes in there against guys that he's fighting, he had the physical attributes, you know, he have the advantage in physically, you know, tall, in terms of height, reach, okay, and even power. You know, he got a pretty good pop, okay. But now he's going against Luke Campbell, who's about the same size as him. They're about, you know, it won't be much of a difference in height, okay, in terms of reach as well. So we're going to really see how he does against someone, you know, his size, okay, and, you know, with more experience than him, you know, basically. I mean, like I said, Luke Campbell's a veteran in there. He's a good fighter. I mean, you know, he went a distance with Lomachenko. Many people don't go the distance with Lomachenko, but he did, okay? And, you know, he handled himself pretty well in there against Lomachenko. It was a valiant effort, you know, even though he came up short, okay? But he fought a pretty good fight. So, you know, I'm thinking that, you know, and I'm sure Luke Campbell probably learned a lot in that fight with Lomachenko. Okay, and I don't really see Ryan Garcia having the kind of output, the kind of movement, the kind of ring generalship, the kind of ring IQ that Lomachenko has. So I'm thinking that this should be a pretty, compared to the Loma fight for Luke Campbell, this should be a pretty easy fight. I mean, you know, that's how I see it. I mean, again, you know, I'll put it in a caveat because Luke Campbell fought Loma. Loma is a smaller guy than Luke Campbell. Okay, I'm not sure who has more power, Luke Campbell or Ryan Garcia. So in terms of that, you know, Luke Campbell is facing a big guy as well in Ryan Garcia, a guy his height, you know, as opposed to a guy like Lomachenko, who was, you know, smaller than him, and he had a reach advantage against Lomachenko, even though he didn't help him much. But you know, Luke Campbell, I mean, one thing Ryan Garcia does have is the physical attributes of a fighter at that weight. You know, he's a tall guy. So maybe I don't know how that's going to work with Luke Campbell, if that's going to be more difficult than fighting against a guy smaller than him, but better than Garcia, but smaller. So we'll see how all that plays out, you know. So, but, you know, from my perspective, I'm just thinking that this fight for Ryan Garcia is maybe three or four fights too soon, and that, you know, this particular hype train, you know, is more than likely gonna get derailed. Okay, I mean, you know, even though, I mean, right now there's a lot of confusion going on with Golden Boy right now, and, you know, between, you know, I mean, as a lot of people might know, they're getting sued by CARNE-LO. Actually the Zone is getting sued by CARNE-LO, you know, by extension, you know, I guess Golden Boy is involved in there. And you know, plus, like I said, you know, Garcia is making a lot of noise about, you know, I've been voicing a lot of dissatisfaction at Golden Boy. So there's talk of, you know, CARNE-LO leaving Golden Boy and taking Ryan Garcia with him. So, you know, that's a possibility. So we don't know, but, you know, be that as it may, the fight against Luke Campbell should be a very interesting fight, okay? And, you know, it'll be interesting to see, who's gonna win that fight. Now, like I said, Luke Campbell, I said Luke Campbell is more experienced than Ryan Garcia because he's been fighting better, more or less better talent. I mean, he fought, better competition. I mean, like he fought for the title against Vasily, Lomachenko. So that's, even that one fight is probably worth about 5 fights that Garcia had so far. You know what I mean? In comparison, in terms of learning and in terms of experience and in terms of what you can gain from it, So I think he, basically Campbell went to school against Lomachenko, and that should have some effect on where he, that should make him a better fighter at this point. 'Cause he didn't really get beat down that bad to the point where we could say, oh, he got dismantled against Lomachenko. Far from it. So that should have been basically a learning experience for Campbell, and he should be coming back stronger. And so we're going to see what's going to happen. Now, if you look at their record that you can see here, Ryan is 20-0 and Luke Campbell is 20-3. Okay, but again, the reason for that 3 is that he's been fighting better competition than Ryan Garcia. Okay, you can see their KO ratio is almost the same. Okay, so it should be an interesting fight. Okay, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that Ryan Garcia has no chance. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I don't think he's ready yet. But that doesn't really mean much, what I'm saying in terms of that, because maybe he's ready, and so maybe he needs a good fight like this to to show people what he can really do. Okay, and so maybe this is a good fight for him that maybe he'll rise to the occasion. Maybe he's the guys he's been fighting, he's just been fighting at the level of opponents that they've been giving him, and this is the opportunity for him to shine and to show what he can really do. So hopefully that's the case. We'll see soon whether or not that's the case, or whether or not it's just another hype train that's going to come to a screeching halt. Okay, so let's I'm looking forward to the fight. I'm sure everybody else is, and that should be an interesting fight. But again, like I said, I just don't think he's ready for Luke Campbell yet. I could be wrong, but we'll find out soon enough. Okay, the next hype train, that's been going full speed ahead is the Teofimo Lopez hype train. Both the Teofimo and the Ryan Garcia hype trains have been going in parallel tracks because these guys are both in the lightweight division. Okay, only thing the hype train, the Teofimo hype train is going at probably a higher speed, than the Ryan Garcia hype train. Probably just traveling at a very fast rate of speed, because here we have in just a few fights you have Lomachenko, you have Teofimo fighting Lomachenko. I mean, which is, I don't know. I mean, that's a tall order. But Teofimo has been going around saying he's going to knock Lomachenko out. Which is, I mean, that's bold. I mean, that's a bold prediction. I mean, he's even going so far to say he's going to knock him out in the 3rd round. So he's even naming the round, not just the knockout, but the round as well. So this, I mean, when you look at it, when you look at the whole thing between Teofimo and Lomachenko, it has the hallmarks of a CARNE-LO. We see all the ingredients of a CARNE-LO Mayweather fight that happened previously. So, and I say that to say that, we saw that what happened when CARNE-LO, the up and coming young phenom, went in there against Mayweather, and Mayweather took him to not just to school, he took him to college. Okay, and so, and we saw what happened in that fight. So most people are thinking that's the same thing is going to happen with Teofimo against Loma. Okay, but again, there's some caveats in there, and we got to look at the whole picture. I mean, really and truly, we saw the fight, his last fight where he knocked out, where he had that one punch knockout. It was a very, a lot of people say he was losing the fight prior to that, and that, that was a lucky punch. Okay. I don't know. I mean, the kid is fast, and he saw opportunity and he took it. So, maybe it wasn't a lucky punch. It was just, raw talent and skill. Okay, and so he saw the opening and he took the opening. Okay, and it paid off for him. Now, is that type of thing is gonna work against Lomachenko? I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna be able to surprise Lomachenko like that. Now, coming into the fight, besides the fact that he's, I mean, I was gonna say he has less experience than Lomachenko, which he does in terms of overall fight record, amateur and professional. But in terms of professional, they're about the same. Okay, they're not really much difference between them in terms of fight, except for the fact that Loma has been fighting champions, okay, and going up and down, the weight division, and collecting belts, and so he's been fighting better competition than Teofimo, although Teofimo fought for a title, and got a title now, so he's a champion. So he's not really a baby anymore. He's a champion. So we can't really say he's not in the position of Ryan Garcia, where he's just coming up. He's a much more advanced than Ryan Garcia in terms of his his record. In a short time too. So besides the lack of experience, we can say that he has less experience than Loma in terms of, like I said, overall fighting record. But he comes into the fight with some advantages against Loma as well. I mean, he's young, okay, young, strong kid, okay, good pop in his punch. Loma is getting up there in age, okay, and he's bigger than Loma, okay. He's a natural lightweight, probably a natural 140 pounder actually, and Loma is really a natural 130 pounder. So if you want to look at it, this is really, when Loma is fighting these guys at lightweight, okay, he's actually fighting I think like a weight above his natural weight. I mean, I think he's naturally 130 pounder, and he's fighting guys at 135, and guys who are really 140 pounders fighting at 135, like Teofimo, because Teofimo is really a 140 pounder, fighting at lightweight. Okay, I mean, that's and a lot of guys do that. It's a tragedy. They get stronger at that weight. I mean, Spence does that. He's naturally 154 pounder, probably even a middleweight. So a lot of these guys, and so basically Loma, I mean, is naturally a smaller guy than Teofimo. So that's an advantage. And so Teofimo could be stronger than Loma, okay, and he could have more pop in his punch. And even if he doesn't, let's say they're equal pop in his punches. Loma is naturally a smaller guy, so the punching power of Teofimo would affect him, more than his punching power would affect Teofimo, because Teofimo is naturally a bigger guy and used to taking punches from bigger guys. So we're gonna see how it plays out, but again, Loma, I mean, Teofimo has been talking a lot of smack, okay, and I mean, no humility whatsoever. He's telling everybody that anybody that will listen that he's gonna stop Loma. He don't have no respect for Loma. He's gonna go in there and knock Loma out. Now, I don't know if that's psychological, if he's trying to hype himself up, or he's trying to scare Loma. He's showing a lot of confidence. I mean, nothing wrong with showing confidence, but let's hope that it's not just talk, because if he goes in there and think that Loma is going to be an easy fight, then he's in for a rude awakening, because it's not going to, even though he got the advantage in terms of size and probably strength and power. Loma is an excellent boxer, and so he should give Teofimo a lot of problems. And the reason I say that is because in this fight against Nakatani, Lopez showed a lot of flaws in his game, and I don't know if it was because Nakatani was a taller guy than him, and so he had a problem with taller guys, because Loma will be smaller than him, so that won't be an issue, height or reach or whatever. It's not going to be an issue for him because Loma is a smaller guy. So maybe that was the problem with Nakatani, but he didn't show much against Nakatani. That fight went the distance, and I think that was his first 12-round fight as well. And you know, he won the fight, but it wasn't very impressive at all. Okay, compared to his other fights. Okay, and this Nakatani guy was pretty good. You know, pretty good boxer, and he had some skills. You know, probably more skills than anybody. Probably the toughest guy that he had faced up until that point. So it was an interesting fight, and Teofimo didn't perform that well in that fight. Okay, and so you know, based on that fight, you know, I'm thinking that if Nakatani could have done what he did to Teofimo, I'm thinking that you know, there's no way that he's gonna beat Loma. Okay, I mean, I just don't see the skills. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that Teofimo doesn't have any skills. He does have good skills. Okay, he's fast. Okay, he's good punching power. Okay, pretty good boxing, but that, I mean, his boxing didn't really shine against Nakatani. I didn't really see anything against Nakatani where I could say, oh yeah, this guy's, you know, he has spectacular boxing technique. No, because as you know, most of his fights he knocked these guys out, and they never really get a chance to really test his boxing skills, take him the distance to see, you know, where he is, if they can drown him in the deep water. He basically usually finishes fights early, and so he doesn't get much boxing. He doesn't get much practice in there. You know, he doesn't get much rounds. Okay, and the first time we saw him getting some rounds, he didn't look too good. So I'm thinking that, you know, from my perspective, you know, I just don't see. Like I said before, anything is possible. It's possible he can win. I mean, I'm not saying he can't win. He has a puncher's chance as far as I can see. You know, that's how he won his last fight. That's how he got the title, with a punch, with a you know, he had a puncher's chance in that fight, and he took it, and he got the title that way. Okay, from a punch, one punch, as a matter of fact. So I'm thinking he had the same chance against Loma, but I think it's going to be more difficult to land a punch against Loma. Okay, and I don't think it's going to be as easy as his last fight. So I'm thinking that that hype train, you know, is going to come to a screeching halt come November. And you know, now I could be wrong, like I said, but I don't think so. You know, I mean, he has a lot of plans that this kid Teofimo. You know, he's talking about going to 140, fighting the winner of the fighting Ramirez, Josh Taylor, the winner of the Ramirez Josh Taylor fight that's supposed to be coming up. So you know, he's already planning ahead of this fight, and this fight is not even here yet. So he got big plans because you know, he say he's not going to fight. He doesn't want to fight Devin Haney. He want to, you know, move straight up to 140 after this fight, which shows you that he's probably having a hard time making lightweight. Okay, and he's really a natural 140 pounder, probably even 147 pounder. So, you know, him moving straight up, he said he want to move straight up and challenge the winner of that fight between Josh Taylor and Ramirez. So that means that he's going to leave Devin Haney, you know, behind him in his dust as far as he could. You know, I don't think he really wants any smoke with Devin Haney anyway. I don't think he can beat Haney either, and so that's maybe the reason why he wants to move up. But I mean, you know, I think it's a great idea for him to do that, and I would love to see you know, if he can take on the winner of the Josh Taylor Ramirez fight. But I don't think he can beat Ramirez. I don't know about Josh Taylor, but Ramirez, I don't know. I don't think, you know, I think Ramirez is probably a little bit too strong for him. But, we never know. I mean, maybe at 140 pounds, he'll have more pop in his punches, and he'll be even stronger and faster at that weight because he don't have to be cut away. He won't be weak. So that could be a possibility. But again, overall, based on what I've seen of Teofimo so far, I mean, he's more, you know, I think he has more bark than bite. I don't think his experience is there. I think that his boxing skill is not mature to the point where he could outbox Lomachenko. And I think that Lomachenko is going to take him to school. Like I said, again, though, I could be wrong, and the only way we're going to know is if we see the, you know, for this fight to be made, and the fight has already been made, and so we're going to see what happened. So, again, you know, so basically we have these two hype trains, Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez, and the question is, you know, will these two hype trains come to a screeching halt in 2020? And so, you know, it looks like that might just be the case from my perspective, from what I can see. So we don't know, but we're going to find out soon enough, okay? And so again, I'm saying that I think that Campbell will beat Ryan Garcia, and I'm also thinking that Lomo will defeat Teofimo. Okay, based on the fact that he has more experience, and it's the same thing for Campbell in terms of credible opponents that he has fought. Okay, compared to what Ryan Garcia fought, and it's the same thing with Loma. Loma's been fighting champions and moving up and down the different divisions, and I think that he just has too much experience for a young kid like Teofimo Lopez. And so I think both of these guys, Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez, you know, getting ready to go to school, and they're gonna get a boxing lesson from Luke Campbell and from Vasily Lomanchenko. So now again, you know, I could be wrong. I've said it already, you know, I could be wrong. Anything is possible, okay? I mean, I think that, you know, I'm not, like I said previously, I'm not saying that Teofimo has no chance or that Ryan Garcia has no chance, okay? I'm not saying that, far from it. I mean, both of these guys have a puncher's chance, okay? Against, I mean, I think Ryan has a puncher's chance against Campbell, and I think that Teofimo has a puncher's chance against Loma. But that's it. It's a puncher's chance. I don't think these guys can outbox. I don't think Ryan could outbox Campbell. I don't think that Teofimo could outbox Loma. But, you know, like I said, only time will tell, and we're going to find out soon enough. Okay, and, you know, it's possible that I'm wrong. Okay, and so we'll see what happens when these fights, you know, come up. You know, I'm looking forward to both fights. I think both fights are going to be good, you know, regardless of what happens in there. But again, I'm just thinking that these two hype trains are coming to a screeching halt in 2020. That is the Ryan Garcia hype train and the Teofimo Lopez hype train. I think it's going to come to, both trains are going to come to a screeching halt in 2020. So I think I'm going to leave it there. That's all I have for right now. This is TBE Boxing. I'm out.